What is the harshest truth about life that you've had to personally accept? That sometimes we have to bury our children. That it's only about 80 years long. I certainly wouldn't want to live forever, but considering this is our only anything, 80 years does not seem long enough. I can't save everyone, no matter how hard I try. Sure, I will keep being my best, but sometimes we have to let people save themselves. You need to learn to enjoy your own company and live with the person you've become, because we will all end up alone eventually. The world does not treat you any better for being a good person. It is not possible to have and be everything at the same time. And since time is limited, there are some things you'll never have or be. You become less concerned about what others think of you when you realize they seldom do. That life is not fair, and no matter what anyone tells you or what they say otherwise, people will always look out for number one, 100% of the time. I'm going to die one day, by some means beyond my control. It's going to happen. I can do everything right, be as healthy as possible, and still get hit by a bus tomorrow or shot by some madman. It's not a matter of if, it's when. Death is ever lurking in wait. Is there something after? Probably not, and that's fucking terrifying. There is no handbook and no right path beyond the typical school career, K-12, 4-year college, maybe grad school. No one will ever lay out a straightforward plan for you with steps/milestones, defined end goals, and clear markers of success/failure. You have to define it all yourself. Bad things happen to good people. You can try to be a good person, do all the right things, but life is still gonna take a big fat dump all over you, again and again. The fairy tales we're raised with are all make-believe. You don't get to live happily ever after. That sometimes parents will put their needs above their child's, and they really don't care about their overall well-being. We are going to die, and we will be forgotten. Who people are, is who they choose to be. That sometimes love isn't enough. People are pretty selfish, and will often say/do things to make themselves feel better or less alone, without regards to how it makes you feel. That being an adult means learning to live with regrets. No matter how much you love or care for someone, how important they are for you, they may never feel the same towards you. Actually, they may not even really care about you, and finding that eventually out really hurts. That there is no such thing as a soulmate or how someone is meant for you. It's a random choice of who you want to be with based on preferences, location, and timing. That some men want to hurt you just because you're a woman, even men you trust. I can't make my boyfriend feel the same love for me and want the same future as the one that I want with him. He has to decide on his own if he's going to stay or move on. And if he does leave, that doesn't mean I did anything wrong. It just means we want different things, and I will have to accept the outcome and be okay with it, regardless. That it's not that my mother doesn't love me. She might not. She's just too scared to feel emotions that she'll always avoid expressing them in any form. I'll just never really know her true feelings about me, but that's no fault of my own. I'm never gonna meet a dragon Iroh and be friends with them. So many of my dreams involve a fantasy world that just isn't real, and it sucks that so much of what I desire is unattainable. I think pretty privilege. Our entire childhoods we are taught it's what's on the inside that matters, but the world would beg to differ. Even though we don't like to admit it, people tend to be more biased towards people who look more pleasing to the eye. I'm in no way saying I've never done this, but I do my best to not. I guess it's just hard to accept. No one can hate me more than I already hate myself. Every relationship ends, whether it's mutual, someone wronged the other, or someone dies. It hurts to know that everyone in my life will be gone eventually, or I'll go first and hurt them by leaving. That being deserving has little to do with what you get in life. Wonderful kind people get trampled every day and horrid nasty toxic people get away with crappy behavior and even sometimes gain advantages because of it. Choosing to be a decent person doesn't guarantee a decent life. That the longer you live, the greater the chance that, even if you meet the love of your life, he could be in a happy relationship and you will simply never be together. To quote Carrie Fisher in When Harry Met Sally, you'll have to spend the rest of your life knowing that someone else is married to your husband. The world is filled with horrid, evil people who will hurt you as much as possible. And sometimes these people act like they are your friend or your lover or a family member. And they are very good at hiding in plain sight. And there is almost no real way to actually protect yourself or your loved ones from them. Society is awful. It isn't just the past that you look back at and question how people are so cruel. It just is hidden more here. And there will never be anything you personally can do to fix it on any relevant level. That said, you can fix it immensely for a few select people around you. And the more you focus on that instead of how ducked up society is, the more successful you will be at it. So many people cheat. So many people do drugs. If everyone was more financially secure, I think the world would be a much better place. Loss and grief is inevitable, no matter how much you want closure. Sometimes you can't get it, and you have to let go. Some people are dumber than we think. Love is not enough. That experiencing one sexual assault does not give you the ability to predict or avoid the next one, or the one after that. We want pain to have a meaning, but it doesn't always. Sometimes bad and painful shit just happens, and we don't benefit or grow from it. This can be either a comforting or upsetting thought depending on how it makes you feel. Not everyone will want to be your friend. Friendships change and you might have been close in school or college, but after a while you grow apart. It sucks, but that's life. 1. Money always brings the worst in people. 2. Life can randomly decide to crap all over your best laid plan. 3. Friendship takes work like any other relationship. It doesn't maintain itself. 4. You owe not your time or affection to anyone if they don't treat you right, and that includes your parents. 5. Ultimately you are responsible for most of what happens in your life. How you handle your money, relationships, health, time is 90% up to you. Take responsibility for the circumstances you've put yourself in, and work with what you gave yourself. As sad as this is to say, I just can't trust the average person not to be shitty in regards to my identity. Better to be pleasantly surprised by someone's kindness than let down by their hatred. That in order to keep a relationship going, I should apparently not open up about my past, child abuse, depressions, eating disorders. I've heard this is too much for me from partners so many times. Even if now I'm totally fine and standing strong. This sucks. You can do everything right and still get ducked. Also, I might spend the rest of my life missing someone and not get over it. I probably will, but I might not. It's okay, but it doesn't feel great. That even if you work hard, you do everything by the book, perform your duties above and beyond. Business is business. Not all companies really care about people. Most of them are all about profits. Everyone is dispensable, no matter how hard you work. Hard work rarely pays off. That not all marriages last forever. You can give someone everything you have, and they will not give two shits about you. That they can break you into a million pieces and be grinding on someone else a month later, like they didn't do their damnedest to ruin your life in the name of love. It's usually the ones closest to you that will hurt you first. Family, best friends, S/O. And no matter how much it's deserved, don't expect an apology. Most people won't give it. Don't think they did anything wrong, or will put it back on you and say you need to get over it. That the vast majority of people, including many people I love, will find themselves in relationships that fall far short of what we are taught as children to expect. Fairy tale love, it ain't. Shit happens and you have to deal with it. And horrible people not necessarily got bad lives, Sounds childish, but it was hard to understand that people that hurted you in the past can be doing just fine now while you are still dealing with painful memories and trauma. Guess karma will hit on them at some point. You can love someone, but that doesn't mean you can or should be together. And you can't get so hung up on them that you stop living your life. The one who knows your every vulnerability holds the capacity to destroy and shatter you emotionally and mentally. Trustworthy people are hard to find. So be wise and smart before sharing or opening up to anyone. That you can't turn back time to relive some moments with someone, no matter how much you wish with every fiber of your being. They're gone and it's permanent. That for some people, all they have to do is click their fingers and boom. They have a good job / someone loves them / they get to experience pregnancy and having a family. I have none of these things. Couple ones here. That sometimes you are the problem and sometimes you are in the wrong. Not an easy pill to swallow, but everyone is in this position at some point. It's not that your ex didn't want to commit. It's that they didn't want to commit to you. There's a difference and the latter is a hard pill to swallow. Adulthood is a lie. No one knows what they're doing. Sometimes it's worth it to lie. I'd rather withhold my feelings regarding my mother instead of causing her the pain of knowing how she makes me feel. Sold. Why hurt her in what are arguably her last years? On a related note, it's a very Western concept to prioritize the self over the collective. It's worth considering the impact of your words and actions outside yourself and act accordingly. That some parents are capable of sexually abusing their children, and that my own mother was one of them. That you can't force people to love you more, nor can you force yourself to love someone else more. That sometimes babies die and you don't get a chance to try again. That everyone dies and everything ends eventually. That most grown people are not good or intelligent. Sometimes people get too twisted and broken, and no matter what anyone does, that is how this people stay, unless they fix themselves. But most people don't and won't. I used to believe that if I loved hard enough it would make a difference, but it only left me depleted and warped. That hate is a stronger motivator than love. Absolutely no one can promise you tomorrow, including your loved ones tomorrow, or the quality of life, even if you have it tomorrow. That not everyone will accept your sexuality and actually be willing to love you like you deserve. Free will is a mirage. Not everyone will treat you with the compassion and respect you extend to them. That there is no justice for the bullied. I mean, some go on to live great lives and some like me is still bullied into their adulthood. I've tried everything. It's hopeless now. 1. That I have to do a job that I'm not passionate about to make some money. My family is lower middle class in a third world country. None of my passions will pay, and as the eldest child without a father I must be practical, at least until we are financially stable. In the pursuit of this, I may have to sacrifice love, friendships and creativity. 2. I will not be an attractive woman. I'm funny, witty, smart and everything but will not be physically beautiful. At first, this realization hurt, but it has made me much more comfortable in my body and somehow has resulted in me taking care of my body, hair and skin better. I love them, warts and all. Life is better for attractive people. It's not what's inside that matters. I'm not conventionality beautiful. That hit me hard in my mid-late teens, but I'm mostly over it now. It helped me get past it when I saw photos of me from a few years earlier that I hated at the time and thought I looked great, so I guess it's just a delayed self-confidence lol. Removed. Getting harassed, being stalked and people / police thinking it's NBD, and that those things are non-violent and harmless. Life is ducking unfair, but you just gotta deal with it, because the world doesn't give a shit about your struggles. That it sucks far more for some than others. That not everyone finds lasting love despite seemingly searching high and low for it. This truth has borne out for me so far, and it is so painful. Parents fall out of love. I know it's out of my control. Life sucks. the corruption of institutional systems, and how it will never change for the better. That there is no answer. That I'm absolutely uninterested in life without this one person, and someday they will marry, and I have to live with seeing and talking to them once or twice a year. That people around you are not perfect and do mistakes too, and I must have to accept that, not the idealized person. The dead stay dead. 1. That there is no rewind or start over. 2. One day I'll have to bury my parents. People who have already grown up don't change. Now I'm not talking about someone with a behavior caused by something else like alcohol or drugs, untreated mental illness or the like. No, I mean people who are genuine assholes. Selfish assholes and ouchabags and cheaters. Please click subscribe if you enjoyed this video.